Yeah, I guess they are the feet of the arms. Anyway, hello, my name is Ash, and welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be doing some hand practice, like I said in the last stream, or the last couple streams, since I really need to get better at this. I'm kind of sick of like how shitty my hands can look if I'm not like looking at a direct reference. So today we're gonna do some practice, right? We're just gonna take a bunch of hands from Google Images, like redline them, and then we're going to like put them like together, right? So 1 second, let me just set up my windows on my other screen. So, and then yeah, after we do some redlining and like copying some hands from Google Images, we'll also we'll also like come up with some original poses to put together. So I'm just gonna copy an image and we'll paste it in here. So this is the first hand I guess we'll do. Could use it as like paste it as a reference image, but don't think that's really necessary. So let's figure out what makes this hand tick. Oh, let's readjust the screen, make this a little smaller so we're not going to run out of space on the page. Jesus Christ. Is it so obsessed with Terraria, Jules? Okay, anyway. I might actually turn the music off, because it's kind of bothering me. It's getting a little repetitive. I'm gonna have to add some new music to the BGM at some point. Anyway, let's to start with, let's get like just a bright red. Does this go over well? Let's maybe a bit darker. Or maybe a bit lighter. Nope. How do I get this? Alright, that's helping. Or maybe we just choose a different brush. Like, maybe just this. Yeah, we don't need any texture. But I do kind of like it. Maybe we'll go with this brush. This is usually my line art brush, but so yeah, first things first, I'm just gonna get a real small brush, or thin brush, maybe not that thin, like 5 is good, and we're just gonna like try and get the shapes of this hand kind of out, right? So like the shapes of this hand are kind of like we've got like this shape, then we've got like this shape. It's almost like it's like a triangle. Oop. I'm doing this on the same layer, which I probably shouldn't. But yeah, let me just get the shapes here. Oop. God, I need to change that back. Okay. Let's put the shapes like this, maybe. So these are two shapes. So we've got like the main part of the hand. So the fingers, they kind of we've also got like the front. So I don't know. I'm just trying to get some shapes together. We're not going to be following this too perfectly. But it breaks, the hand kind of breaks there and here. So those are the places that we're gonna break up first. Let's actually lower the opacity of this so we can see a little bit better. So yeah, we've got like this back plane of the hand and this plane of the thumb that are kind of in shadow. Let's try So then we've got a knuckle that's coming out here, and I guess it's for this finger, which is like surprisingly, it's longer than you'd think, right? So just, yeah, kind of just get these shapes out. Or yeah, let's try using just like straight lines to really figure out these shapes. So we've got this shape here. This shape is kind of also coming out like that, and then the way that it connects is just kind of like leading out from the thumb. So then if we erase this, let's actually really quickly reduce the darkness of this background color, bring it a little closer to white. So where is this? Like there. So that we can see a little better what we're doing. So this is kind of the hand shape that we've got to start with. So if I were to try and like copy this like separately, so we've got a kind of like a triangle shape, and then we've got another like triangle leading off for the start of the thumb, and then it kind of has like a boxy shape it's kind of tapering inward here. So we've got one knuckle leading off here and another leading off here because we're kind of facing the hand away. So if I were to do this, and it kind of like tapers all the way out. Then we've got, yeah, so it feels like these fingers are, oh, I'm drawing, I am drawing them too long, but I went a bit orange with this, but that's fine. So, or I'm not drawing the hand long enough. And then we've got like this other finger is coming off here, right? What we're kind of just doing is trying to figure out what makes these hands tick, right? What makes these poses of these hands work. And you know, I find that I'm like often pulling these things out too far, right? So got these kind of shapes. I feel like tapering the fingers is something that I often do that it just doesn't quite work right. I gotta remember, like the inner parts of like the bottom bone of the finger is often kind of where it's longest, right? Or it's often where it's longest, but when it bends, right, those kind of portions would get shorter. So then we've also got the hands that come out. Hands have always been something I've struggled with, and you know, I've done a couple good hands, I think, in my my like second fan art that I posted on my my second artwork that I posted on my Twitter of Hifumi from Persona 5. I think that's my best hand that I've ever done. But I used heavy reference, right? I took a picture, and usually because the hands aren't the focus, I don't want to do that, right? It feels like I'm like gonna be wasting time if I or like I'm not moving as quickly as I want to if I try and do that. But really I need to remember that you know, every part of the art is pretty important. So if I'm neglecting one part, it kind of that attitude might show through the rest of the piece anyway. So I really should just put more effort, but sometimes you just feel like I just want to do something really easy and not worry about this. I can see a couple areas where I kind of like I went a lot shorter with this version, And then you can also see that the thumb actually, the base of the thumb is really wide. So it kind of comes out about a bit further like that, and then that leads into the wrist. And I feel like somehow I still made this wrist a bit too thick. And there was a bit of shadow leading down, right? So if I were to try and line a hand like this, I'd probably we'll use this kind of brown mauve, and we'll do it on this layer. So I need to remember, I won't block in the shadows on this part, but we can try and just get these shapes in. And yeah, I gotta remember that goes all the way down there, because because the thumb, I don't know how to find the words, but the palm kind of continues behind that thumb, so I gotta remember that part is drawn in, that line, but this one wouldn't, because that's just the line I used for the shape. And I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna render these first ones out at the very least. We might do some hand rendering later, but for now I just kind of want to get shapes right, just because like I don't think rendering is where my my problem with hands lies. I think I'm decent at rendering, so I should focus more on getting these shapes. So, you know, kind of got this little flick up on the last segment of the hand for like the nails. They kind of have that look. So if I were to do this, and we can kind of like lead those out. If I were to remove this, does this hand look good? I think it still doesn't. But it's definitely better than something that I would be able to do without reference, right? So I think some of these fingers are like too thick, and that's a problem with them. So I should kind of put those together. I think this angle needs to be a little steeper to make sense. And I think without the shadow, it really does look a little weird. But let's also, I think, push this a bit higher. This what do you call that part of the thumb? I don't know. But I think we should push it a little higher, because it's in a weird spot, right? I don't know. Would I want to put nails in? I guess there's no harm in it, even though usually I don't draw nails in my art, or I don't like define them, I suppose, is the best way to put that. So yeah, this does not look that great. I'm just kind of like making so the fingers aren't too pointy. Sorry, that was just a bit of water. It's got a weird squeak on my bottle. Alright, so I think let's try and think about, let's look at this and see what we kind of didn't put in properly. Let's even look at, okay, so the angle of the thumb is one thing that I did a bit wrong. So let's try and fix that, right? Let's try and iterate on what we did. So we've got the thumb kind of has a bit more of this shape, and it kind of bends that way, and then this part kind of pushes in there, and then what's the other problems? This part of the finger is more straight. In the reference. These fingers, they don't taper gradually enough, so the tips look super thin and the bases look much thicker than how they actually are. And also, I didn't go shallow enough with them, so it's they kind of point out like that in the reference. And I gotta remember they connect up here. I don't know if this is actually making the hand better or not, but this angle is actually a lot steeper than what we drew. Let's see. This kind of like, let's see, this finger comes in a bit more, and then it kind of like curves out, but I don't really do, well, curves aren't really the focus, but it's good to get those shapes in. So let's put this like out here and that. Alright, let's not focus too much on this hand now. I'm just trying to, but I'll just want to get kind of the stuff that I'm not doing great out of the way, so I know where to look with the next one, right? And I guess now we can block in those shadows, right? We've got shadows here and here. They kind of lead up here and like that, and they stop here. And right, we don't want to put the shadows on the original shapes because they kind of distract from it a little. However, shadows are important in getting the form right, so we don't want to completely neglect them or anything. Albeit the way I've done these does not look very good anyway. We'll just like thicken the outside edge of the shadows. Okay, so I think that's just good to keep in mind. Let's move on to another hand then. So let's grab, let me have a look. We just gotta find some decent hand poses. Something hopefully not too similar. Let's have a look. Alright, this hand is fine. It's got some good shapes in it, so let's try and figure out how these work. So let's just paste that there and move that up. Shrink it a bit. So this is our like next hand. Let's actually move it a little to the side and make it a little bit larger. All right. Can we even crop it maybe? Nope, that will just crop the whole canvas. Whoops, I didn't mean to move it back there. All right, okay. Just go back here. Now we've got our red line layer as well. Let's even go for a darker red since I didn't like how orange the last one looked. And move it down. All right. Whoops. There we go. So let's try and find the shapes in this one, right? So we've got, I think the main shapes, we've got a kind of rectangle. here. And then we've got this kind of, it's almost a triangle, but it's not quite. Let me refigure this a bit. I think that shape is closer to that, and then we've got that shape, which kind of like continues the palm down there. And then we have these shapes. So let's actually make sure these shapes are really simple. We've got a kind of tapered square, and then another it's kind of like that shape. So we've got those shapes, and then we want to think about these fingers. They're kind of bending in towards this palm, and they've got, you know, we've kind of got like triangle, and then we've got these rectangles for this angle at least. So we'll, and they're kind of like staggering up, right? And the triangles on the side are getting more shallow until all the way over here where you don't really see it. So then if we were to get rid of these shapes and connect the wrist up, then we can kind of see we've got this shape. Is this right? Let's just make sure this shape is actually the shape we're looking for, like this. So we've kind of got these shapes. So we want to copy these over. So we've got like this kind of boxy rectangle shape that's on a slight angle and kind of like tapered down towards this wrist. And then we have a triangle here that's kind of like leading in, a tapered box, and then kind of that shape. Then if we were to get all of these fingers, we've got kind of just these big rectangles, and they are kind of laid out facing or pointing slightly towards the center and bumping up against each other. So let's put that there, and also they're getting lower, right? So let's don't forget to do that part. Well, let's not forget to do that part. And they're kind of following this line that's created by the thumb, right? Getting slightly shorter. So we've kind of got actually like another shape here, right? These ones actually kind of flatten out over here, so let's do that. And I think I went a little overboard with that one, so let's pull that in a little. So yeah, actually if we look at it again, we've also got a bit of a triangle and then a square, or a rectangle or whatever. So yeah, those are the kind of shapes we've got, right? I feel like I didn't go like down enough with this, right? So maybe we can put those a little more and even taper that in more, because I'm not quite like at a point where I'm like, yeah, that looks good. All right, so something like that, and then we kind of follow that triangle of the thumb and bring it down, and then we also taper this one in slightly and bring it down. So if we were to again do this kind of ink over it, then it would be kind of like this shape, And we would get rid of those inner shapes. And then we can also kind of like bow out these fingers kind of like almost like this, where the joints are. Not quite, but I feel like that might be a good way to indicate where the joints are a little bit, and give a little bit more of an interesting shape to these fingers. And then let's do one last one. So then we've got this shape. So if we were to get rid of those red lines, this looks bad, but well, okay, let's bring this part of the thumb a little bit further up and thin out some of these fingers so they don't look too absurd. So we've got a kind of hand like this. Let's have a look and see where we messed up with it then. So we've got this. Let's get rid of the red. So I didn't really exaggerate this line quite as much. This, because it was almost like straight down. And I also didn't pull this wrist in quite enough for where it was going. So let's try and figure out that a little. So the thumb, I feel like you got to remember that the thumb goes out more than it feels like it should. This part of the thumb I don't think is that bad, but I did exaggerate it a little much. And then these parts of the fingers, they bow out a little. Well, they don't bow out at all, really. It tapers in, so I shouldn't get ahead of myself. And then it actually goes way more in than I drew it, right? So I didn't go far enough with it, right? So yeah, we've got all the way in like that. And we've got like this part of the wrist here. But I gotta remember, the wrist is pretty straight and the thumb can go out really far. I think if you were to draw like a more feminine looking hand, then you might turn that back a little and make it more curved, but I think for this kind of hand, well, let's at the very least, let's block in the shadows, right? We've kind of got these shapes over here, and then kind of already got it with how we did the lines, didn't we? We've got a little bit over there and over like here. So the light's kind of like coming from there. I think this still looks weird, but that's why we're doing this, right? We're trying to make it look less weird. We're trying to make it look better. I think I bowed that in too much. Okay, let's hide that, bring this back, and let's move on to another hand and try and figure that one out. So let me find, let's see, maybe like an open palm. Or like a backhand. Let's have a look. You know, I really want like to get like a wooden mannequin hand. I feel like that would help a lot with being able to get a reference, because I know using photos as a hand reference is not perfect at all. it's got a lot of flaws. You can't really see the depth of the hand or understand it. You can just see it in that pose and figure out how to do it. So let's have a look at you know what, let's do this reaching for a handshake. Take constructive criticism. Yeah. Yeah. You can give constructive criticism. I'm trying to improve here, so I don't mind at all. Do you reckon there is an issue with the way I'm trying to go about practicing hands? Because I don't really know how to practice. I'm just trying to figure stuff out, right? Go back to the others real quick? Yeah, okay. So you want to bring these up? Maybe, yeah. It's the wrist? So you reckon how I'm doing the wrists is making it look odd? It looks off. You're probably right. Let's actually, I'll go back here. Let's have a look. I think maybe I'm probably not pushing this in enough now that I'm seeing it. So let's go and try, if I were to bring this hand in, maybe not that much, but a little bit, because I can kind of see there is a bit of that curved shape. And actually this comes around for a curve a bit as well. The fingers are a bit too short and the thumb's too thick. Yeah, you're definitely right. So if I were to bring this in, oop, thank you for the follow. I'm guessing that's what happened. Yes, thank you for the follow, rock elevation. Elation, jeez. I'm terrible at reading. Alright, so maybe if I pushed the thumb like that a bit. It's kind of hard to see where exactly I'm, where my lines are. They're not super defined, they're super sketchy, right? So maybe I should. Rocky? Alright. No problem. Yeah. Hands. God, they're. Thank you. Yeah. I agree. I think probably one issue here is that this flesh part, what is it, on the base of the palm has a bit of maybe it's a little too thick in comparison to the reference, or maybe I just need these shadows to be darker. I think that, but yes, thank you for the suggestions and help. But yeah, I'm gonna move on, or actually just maybe. You also said that these looked a little too short, right? I think maybe it's because I've got such flat tops to them, so I'll put a bit of a height from the knuckles. But let's move on to this hand then. So let's move it down. Maybe I should label these two. Hand 1, hand 2, hand 3. Oh, I didn't name that one. Did I type somewhere? Whoops. Hand 3. Hopefully not. So let's go with another red line. And kind of see, this is a much more muscular hand and wrist. So we've kind of got the wrist shape is like this. And then it kind of leads up there, and then we've got those two sections, right? So if we were to kind of get these, if we were to maybe break this palm section into two, we've kind of got, this is a more tapered part, and then we've got much more square shape, or a much more rectangular shape, less trapezium. And then the fingers here are kind of like, let's get some boxes. Like this. Let's actually lower the opacity since I can't quite see that well on it. So the knuckles section is also kind of, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have separated that shape from the rest of the hand. So then these kind of like fade into the background. This is a really difficult pose. Or hand, and then try and like taper these off still. But these hands are much less tapered because probably because they're so like masculine hands. So if I were to, oh, and we've also got these shapes, right? So this kind of box, and then that is got a bit more of a trapezium shape as it connects to that triangle for the base of the thumb. So now if I were to get rid of that and have a look, see here, yeah, the pinky really appears small, probably because like the knuckles are over here, right? I mean, that's probably not a great way to indicate them, but they're over there. So if I were to re-sketch this hand, so we've got this trapezium shape, then we've got kind of like bent rectangle where it's kind of got a curve to the flow of the fingers, and so it's shorter on the lower side. And then this thumb kind of comes up from this trapezium and into like the middle part of this palm section or whatever. Thank you. The wrist is coming out with this kind of shape, maybe not that severe, and this is a bit straighter. So we've got these two. I'm doing it a little bit of a larger scale, actually. I think too much. Let's lower this thumb a little bit over here. And this is longer. God, I've messed up my scale now. It's thrown me off a little. Okay, we do want it to be a little higher there. And try and get this other trapezium. I don't want it to be too tapered. I think actually I might have gone overboard with how far this hand or thumb part comes out, right? So maybe I should pull this back a little, and that's what's looking off. So then we can push this in here. Meanwhile, I'm rendering 2 new OCs. An almost immortal deadpan troll and a prince who looks scary but isn't. Yeah, cool. OCs are real fun. I was working on one in my last stream, actually, but I decided to take a break because I kept having to draw hands and I couldn't. Right, because one of the hands is supposed to be like a projection, like a holographic projection, but but that means that a lot of focus is going to be on that hand, and I wasn't liking how it was looking really. Are your OCs just for like a story or like a D&D campaign or something like that? Let's just now worry about these fingers, which are like the most worrying part. There's a very small space there for the pinky, and probably not that thick. I think scaling it up is actually a good challenge here, since I can't use the other sketch as a crutch as much. Got another shape here that comes out a little farther, and then, or a little further, and then we've got that shape, like that. A webtoon, probably. Oh yeah. I also really want to write a webtoon. It's what my characters are for. But you know, like the first idea is way too ambitious, so I'm kind of like waiting to actually start on that specific one and thinking of maybe another. Let's put this. I think I'm losing it a little bit here. Let's push this. Yeah, writing a webtoon, like, it's much more accessible than animation, which I'm like very rough with, and you know, it's a good way to bring your characters to life. So I've actually got like 2 planned webtoons that I want to do, but I feel like if I were to start them with the current level of my art, I'd end up like disappointed or something. Yeah. So yeah, it always happens like that. Yeah. So I don't know. I've only written maybe like 5 original characters, and they're like split down the middle between which stories they're a part of. One of them's like, oh, this is gonna be a fantasy epic, which I know is like a major writing trap, and then the other is just gonna be like a high school romance kind of thing, which like the character I'm using on my banner and my starting soon screen are actually is actually a character from that romance story. His name is Ray. I made these way too long, so I'm just gonna do these fingers. Let me pull them back a little. Yeah, okay. Yeah, drawing on a larger scale definitely makes this a little bit more difficult, huh? So let's put these together there, and I think I should even pull this back more like that. So we can, I'll even like shade in these areas in shadow a little. So if I were to, we've got knuckles as well here, or about there. And I think I didn't leave enough of a gap between the fingers here on this hand. This is what I'm doing right now. I'll check it out. Let me just click the link. Yeah, I see. So what's your plans for this character? Prince? Ah, right, okay. Cool. You know, I hope you're working hard at it, you know? Gotta get on the grind, especially with something like webtoons, right? You need you need to be drawing so fast to get consistent, or so often to get consistent that sometimes it's weird. Oh, the second one's real good. I like the coloring you went for. But let's first just really quickly. Did I draw this on the wrong layer? I did. Well, of course I did. I always do. I'll just make another layer. It's fine. So we kind of went for this shape, this shape, this shape. Let's just really try and bang this out. You gotta practice a lot to really get speed down, you know. Let's have a look another look at this reference. Alright. So I think I should get rid of that and bring that part back a little. And we'll hide that again so that I can work on this. But yeah, I hope your webtoon plans work out well. Alright, so I'm gonna speed up these hands a little. Okay. Let's kind of like taper them off a little better, or round them off a little better. So like this, like that. So we've kind of got this shape here, and then I don't know, is this actually how the shadows on that hand went? Not exactly. Getting shadow shapes is like another area that I feel like I'm a bit lacking. like dynamic shadow shapes. This comes out a bit straighter. And then we've got a bit of thickness there. And then it comes over. Alright. So if I were to remove this, I think this hand is not bad, but I can see a little bit of the areas where I really I went active on Discord and got insta messaged. They were totally watching for me or something. I guess, yeah. Pings, like, especially, are always annoying. But I can see I kind of, with the curve of these fingers, I think I went too far down. Alright, so the flow of this hand looks a little weird. So maybe actually I can just do this and continue it that way. Yeah, I can definitely see some areas where I've made this look a little weird. Bending everything down too far. Try doing a skeleton. A skeleton. 1 second. Oh, right, yeah, okay, I know what you mean. Right, so if I were to go here, and we've got like these, like carpal bones or whatever, I don't know. I'm not gonna do like a proper skeleton, but we've got this bone, this bone, this bone, and then that bone. And we've got to make sure these are like straight, right? And then that one's like hidden away, and then this one is like bent right there. And then I don't know. There's I don't remember the carpal bones exactly. I'm just kind of like getting a general shape of them. And then there's like 2 bones like here, right? Something like that. But yeah, I can definitely see I bent a lot of these fingers way too far. So I'm gonna, I don't really need this skeleton. I'm gonna get rid of it. Because I can see where the problems are. I think, yeah, it's mainly this ring finger, I think. So if I were to, oop, that's on the wrong layer. Of course it is. It's always on the wrong layer. So if I were to bring it out here. This doesn't go out that much. It kind of like continues on actually. And then we can get a bit of a smaller gap there. And then we can taper this a little less. And that part kind of want to show that it's bending, right? So it's almost going straight down. But I don't think I did it justice there. Any critiques for that one? I'd say, first of all, did you zoom in when you drew this face? Cause it looks like the line art on the face is much, or I mean, it's a sketch, I get it, but the line art on the face is much larger. I think, or smaller, I mean. I think one thing that you could probably do to help with this is keep, I don't know what program you use, but you want like a smaller, like over in Krita, the program I use, and Photoshop and other ones probably have it too, but there is this overview which gives you like a small image to give you like a look of the overall piece. And also when you're doing a sketch, you probably don't want to zoom in, right? I know, like for the line art, I think it's fine, right? You want your clean lines, but when you're doing a sketch, you really want to keep it broad, or you want to keep the canvas, like your view of the canvas, broad, so that you don't do things out of proportion. I think do you mirror often? Do you press M or whatever button you use to like see something mirrored on the horizontal? So it switches in this direction. Because I think that can really help you see your flaws in what you've drawn. And I think you placed the eyes too high on the head, right? When you're drawing a head, right, this is how I do it. I kind of like sketch out like a box. And you've got like the chin here. And I know there's definitely flaws with how I do it, but you want your eye level to be right in the center of the face. This one's a little bit higher because the it's kind of looking up, but you want the eye level to be right here. And then the hair kind of like covers up the rest of this part, right? So if you have your eye level here, then I think the heads look a bit more natural. And then like your nose comes down however far, right? I think learning the measurements of the face can help with your proportions a little bit. I don't know really what art style you're going for though, so like my art style is very much anime inspired, so it might not be the best point of reference. Right, like I'd draw like I don't know, something like this, and then you definitely just want to. I'm just trying to use this as like for the general like height of things. Eyes halfway down the face, the bottom of the nose another half between the chin and the eyes, and then the mouth is half again, pretty much. And that's generally how you want faces proportioned. And you know, you can exaggerate it and push and pull as you please after that. I think that would help with your kind of like face design. I mean, the thing is, those are yeah, those are just like proportions of the face. I think they apply regardless of whether you are drawing realistic or a very stylized. I think looking at like you know, famous painters to see how they kind of do their things, it'll help as well, right? Like look how they do their color or their proportions of their face and try and mimic it. I think will help. And I think your hair needs some work too, but I think yeah, I mean you're coming from a good spot. Like I think your construction is pretty good. I don't use like the same like Loomis method, right, with the circle and then project the chin off it. but I think it's perfectly viable for, you know, doing what you want to. Like, I don't know if you watch like Proko or someone, like those art YouTubers, that do kind of realistic style. And also, I think your buttons are too close together on the jacket. But that's not really that's not really like a problem with the art. It's more like I'm pretty sure like those kind of like suits, they'll either have like in that space below the lapel over here, right? There's usually only like 2, maybe 3 buttons under it, right? And they're pretty big buttons. But yeah, but I think you're you know, you're pretty well proportioned. It's just like the face is like, it looks much smaller than or like the line weight is so much smaller than the rest that it can look a little odd. I'm gonna do a, actually, you know what, I'm gonna be back in like 1 minute. I need to go to the toilet, so I'll just put this here. There's no game to capture because but it's same difference. Anyway, I'll be back in a second. All right, I am back. Okay, so let me just go back to the tablet screen. And I need to get more onto improving my own stuff as well. I think I'm gonna do one more hand, and then I'm gonna try and do some original hand poses. So let's do like maybe a handshake. Let me have a look. What kind of stuff is here? What have I drawn? Oh, actually, I just did reaching for a handshake, didn't I? So if I have a look at all of these, like this. So one kind of hand I haven't done is like an open palm from the front. So maybe I'll work on that. This is, no, this is my red lines. Let's hide those for a second. Those can, whoops. Oh, I deleted hand 1 by accident. Well, it doesn't really matter, I've already drawn it. So where was I? Let me move to over here. Right below these hands. Alright, so let's see, open palm, or let's maybe do like open palms facing towards us a little. Yeah. These hands don't look too bad. Hello there, Psycho Soldier. How are you doing today? Copy. Let's paste this in here. Oh, that's a large image. Let's shrink it down. Yeah, I'm doing an insomnia. Oh, haven't been able to sleep? Lol. Yeah. I'm in Australia, so it's only like 1 p.m. to me. Yeah, just doing some hand practice today. So I'm just trying to get some shapes figured out and hopefully get good enough at hands to not feel like I'm horrible horrible at everything. Okay, we've got these kind of shapes and then this kind of shape. So yeah, we've got these nails are a little they're a little gross actually, but let's just try and get these shapes in. Go for a bit more rounded since it's kind of looking in perspective. Yeah, I mean, I feel like hands are something without reference that I yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna draw the like the nails, right? I don't think it's necessary. I just have to look at them for a while though. Okay. So we've got these kind of shapes in here. This is part of this hand, and then there is like another finger, and then this is the pinky that's connected here. And then we've got those kind of parts of the hand coming out there. Yeah, in perspective is a little bit harder. Although I do really like drawing in perspective. I'm not the greatest at it, especially like placing characters in perspective is like one of my weakest areas. But you know, so are hands, so I figured I'd practice this. So these are, so we've got like that shape, and then this wrist is also kind of tapered like that. We've got a shape like that. This one is kind of like that shape, right? Yeah, like that. Perspective is tricky, yeah. I've done it like a couple times, good perspective, but you know, always takes so long until I feel like I'm getting it right. So yeah, I just need to practice it so that I don't have as many problems. I've kind of got like, because it's in perspective, we need to draw things that look a lot more like tubes over like how I'm usually doing it with just the angles everywhere, because I don't like drawing curves. Alright, so we've got these shapes over here. Let's just get them in quickly. A lot of these people have like, you're scrolling through DeviantArt. Oh, through my DeviantArt. Oh yeah. Cheers. A lot of that. Oh, my Shira fan art. Yeah. God, I did that so long ago, and I still think it's one of my best pieces. But it's like the colors are really flat, and the art style is pretty simple. So I feel like it really can convey the vibe a lot better. It's very neat. Yes, thank you. It took a while to get it that neat, but I used a very a much cleaner brush than what I use now, which is, you know, this very toothy kind of brush. That's not very neat, and my current art is very sketchy. But anyway, let's get these hands together. But yes, thank you for the praise. So if I were to hide them, which is here. So we've kind of got couple shapes, the shading and colors. Yeah, I had like a reference image for it, and I pretty much I could like pick the colors directly from the reference. So like doing fan art for like like colored shows and stuff, or stuff that has a very clear visual identity, I find is oftentimes a lot easier than doing stuff like from scratch or your own characters. But it, you know, it's fun. It was fun. The trying on the shoes. Do you mean like the the pattern on the bottom of the shoes? Actually, I don't even remember what it looks like. I'll have a look myself. On another piece. Oh, the tying on the God, that was such a yeah. Okay, I remember what you're talking about. God. When I drew that piece, my kind of goal was like, oh, you know, all those like what are the type of music? It's like you know, on the electro swing or you know, those kind of music compilations that you find on YouTube. They've got like you know, yeah, lo-fi as well. It's got like the, you know, the detailed background and like an anime girl in the center kind of doing stuff. That was my kind of goal with it. But it was like I don't know, I was a bit too much of an amateur artist to really convey it properly, or convey the feeling I wanted. I mean, I don't think it turned out bad, but it's old and it took, God, it was like way too long I spent on that artwork, for what it was, in my opinion. It took me like God, maybe 8 hours. I think I could definitely redraw it better now. Yeah, for sure. It would be like a different style. If I spent the same amount of time on it, I'd say I could draw it better now. The reason the lines on that one are so clean, by the way, though, is because I was like unsatisfied with how do I say? I was unsatisfied with the lines from back then, because the thing is, nice confident boost to recreate. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I drew that, the date probably says like 3 or 4 years ago, I think. God, or maybe 2. It might have been 2 years ago. I can't remember. But I think if I didn't improve in that time, I'd be a lot sadder. But I think I have. One second. I do want to. The thing is with recreating old art though is like, I feel like I don't know if I'm at a place in my skill where I'd feel satisfied with recreating it. I don't know if it'd be enough better, right? Okay, so it was like 2.5 years ago then. Yeah. So like I'm not like opposed to trying at one point, right? It's definitely one of those pieces I'd probably want to redo, but I don't know. God, I feel like I'm kind of failing at recreating these hands. They're a bit difficult. But yeah, it was a while ago. It was like, I think it was like one of my first posts on that account. It was but yeah, the reason the line art on that might look, it's like super tapered and clean looking, and it's because after I like sketched and lined it all, I wasn't happy with how the lines looked, so I took it into Adobe Illustrator and I actually like vector lined the entire thing, which is like definitely not something I'd do now, because I think it's like, it's completely unnecessary, and it's you know, not gonna really help improve art that much, or improve my art that much. I mean, it's definitely its own type of art, but you know, it's not the kind of art that I go for anymore. Yeah. 1 second. Let me just try and... God, this hand is much harder to, like, mimic than the other ones. Painting over sketches is easier. Yeah, no, I agree. I think one of the ones like I kind of painted over recently was I did a technique similar to that, was my Himemori Luna fan art that I for Hololive that I did like a couple weeks ago maybe, where I kind of like I lined it all. You can like you'd probably be able to check the VOD, although it's probably not very entertaining. I wasn't talking much. With hands, maybe try going over the biggest. Yeah, you know, you're right. I should be. So let's try. This needs to be more like this. These shapes I should. It's more of like a block right here, and then there's like a big triangle over here, and then over here we've kind of got like this shape. I feel like all the red line details are pretty yeah, no, I agree. I went too much into getting the shapes there. I should actually just go over it, right? So kind of got this shape, and then we've got this shape, and then we've got these two shapes, and we've got a kind of block over there. So this shape has actually got a bit more of that part, and then this is a bit straighter. Got hair in my mouth. This kind of starts over here, and we've got like a block here. All right, I think this helps a little bit better. So then we can kind of break. Oh, thank you for the follow. I'm guessing that was you, Psycho Soldier. Yes. So I can kind of like put these out like this, right? This is much further that way. All right. So if I were to do this, it's kind of getting a bit of the shape a bit better, right? It's kind of curvy, which I'm not sure I like, but... So we've got that kind of finger is a little tapered out like that. And then these kind of will fade out into the background here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, you know, you're right. I'm definitely, you know, probably worrying too much over like, oh, I'm drawing these hands in a finished piece, which I'm not. I think I definitely got the angles here wrong a little bit. Well, okay, these hands aren't even lined up the same anymore, but I think that's fine. And I've made them a little too thick for seeming like they are the right scale. All right. And then we've got like probably. Oh, and let's also just probably get a bit of these fingers out there. So we've got this shape and then this shape. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's a little bit better. God, they kind of look gloved hands though, don't they? Let's have a look at the piece here again. If I were to remove that, oh, not remove it. Or I guess we can buffer it like this. Remember to flip the canvas. You're right, you're right. I usually worry more about flipping the canvas when I'm trying to do something symmetrical, but or I also find that if you flip the canvas too often though, you'll get used to it, how like the wrong looking version, and then like you're stuck, right? You have to wait a couple hours to look at it again and see where the actual faults lie. Yeah, let's just do a shape like that ish. Maybe some guidelines from the pic to your sketch. I'm not too worried about it looking like it's the same. I'm more like it's like a perfect replica, because that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get to a point where I can draw hands that look like hands, right? So I don't care if it doesn't look like it's the like exact same pose of the hand. Yeah, and also, yeah, I'm not a realist drawer, right? So for the purpose of practice, you're right, yeah. So also it's not the right scale, huh? Let me try and see. If I were to grab this, let's just actually move it to overlap and see what happens. Where is the piece? It's here. This is hand 4. Forgot to label it. Alright, so if I were to move this over here and see kind of where it's not lining up. Yeah, a lot of places, huh? So let's move it back actually. So we've got what am I doing here? I'm not quite sure. It's not that far off. Yeah, if I rotated it more, I think that's like one of the problems that I have with my art there, is that for some reason whenever I draw, everything is like leaning to the point where like thankfully in Krita you've got like these things where you can like lean stuff, but maybe try draw stuff up upside down. I mean reference being upside down, oh, that would be a damn challenge. Oh, to prevent the leaning, maybe. Yeah, I guess I could. Probably not with this one, but you know what? I'll do one more hand. I won't ink this one, maybe in a second. Because your brain sees more shapes and not actual things. Okay, yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from. Let me get another hand that I can find somewhere. Alright, this hand seems fine. So let's just paste this in here. This is hand 5. Let's move this here and then move it like that. Is this gonna work how I think it is? I don't think so, but you picked a tricky one. Yeah, I mean, you know, you got a challenge, right? So let me try, like, because these like kind of like front on or very simple hand, I don't think I struggled with that much. It was mostly this one at the bottom. Ooh, whoops. Like this kind of like coming like in perspective that I struggled the most with. But yeah, I agree. The shape is kind of like, let's have a look. We've got this shape, right? We've got this shape, and then we've got this shape, and then we have probably split these fingers into two shapes. Or I guess it has to be like three shapes, doesn't it? We've got a box here that's connecting down, and then we've got another box here. And then like we've got that part of the hand is kind of coming over like that. And let's just get the wrist in as well. Oh, I had to curve it, otherwise it's gonna like look weird. All right, so now if I were to try and the three fingers could be one blob. Let me have a look. Yeah. All right, let me see. If I were to do this shape, right? That's kind of one blob. So if I remove it, we've kind of got this shape. I feel like it's not really coming across that one finger is pointing towards us, right? Like over here. I don't know. We'll try it, yeah? So then I need to like move these shapes upside down, right? So I need to go over here. And God, this is hard. So we've kind of got this shape going here and like this, right? And then this wait, did I do something wrong? I'm not, no, I didn't flip it upside down. All right, so actually it needs to go like this, right? Blob with a bit of curve, with a bit of space curved out. I can try that. So that would be like that. That's not bad. I can probably work with it. But okay, now I need to do it upside down though. This is the actual difficult part. So we've got this pointing inward. Right, so that's one finger. We've got a bit of a like a rounded shape here. The thumb is over. Well, this is actually too leaning, isn't it? This is like it's like, I don't know, 110 degrees or something. That's too short. God, this is very difficult. Did you actually turn the tablet upside down instead of just flipping the canvas? No. I am the canvas is the same side up both times. Right? So I sketched over the hand, and now I'm flipping it in my head this way, like this. Right? So the canvas both times, right, this way is up. Me looking at the canvas. And it's just with this, I'm like in my head, I'm like flipping it that way. so that the wrist is on the opposite side and like the bottom parts are on the top. I thought that was what you meant, but maybe not. I'm drawing on this layer. Okay. Whoops. Well, I mean, I'm doing it anyway, so I guess I'll at least get this part in. This goes all the way to the wrist, and then we've got like this, and like that, and then it kind of like comes. Or actually, no, not quite. Yeah, I guess I bit off more than I intended to chew. So it was like this, and then it was like that, kind of, right? So we have, I didn't even put the details in, so this is worse. It was kind of like this, and then this finger is coming out like here. God, I don't know how I'm trying to do this. Draw what you see, not what you think you see. Yeah, I guess. Alright. Well, you're not even doing bad here. I appreciate that. There's these triangles here. It's connecting like almost perpendicular, and then there's like a tapered rectangle here that's going out to about there. This goes higher up on this shape. That's a little too thick from what I've done there. A little too tall even. Make it a little shallower. Then we've got a shape that kind of comes out like that, and then this shape comes out like that. Looks like a, God, the wrist is so thick, it's like a Hulk or something. And then I didn't put the details, right? So maybe I can put this in now. This goes under. This is moving. It's like, God, it's like this kind of. And then we've got I don't know how this is working, or if this is working right now, but we've got this shape. Okay, babies are thick. Alright. Oh, the reason this shape is so thick is because it's not actually following the contour of the thumb, huh? And then we've got this kind of. Oh, actually, kind of. It's got another thing here, and then it comes across like that. This kind of, it actually comes down more here. Okay, now I'm losing it a little, I think, right? Now I'm like trying to draw like a thumb instead of copying what I'm seeing. So I should work on this a little bit more. This is kind of, it's got like a little bit of that shape. All right. I don't think this is like the same hand pose anymore. You started off strong. Yeah. There's something. I mean, it looks like a hand at the very least, right? There's like the ribs down there, and then we've got this kind of like common overlapping here, and then this tapering that way a bit more. All right. So I need to like bring this more like here. I don't know. This looks like almost like a finger gun, huh? These are real thick fingers. All your hands look like hands. I mean, yeah, that's a positive. I mean, I'm using reference, so I think that's part of the reason why it's like working slightly. Because I think I'm not bad at hands with reference. I'm bad at like thinking of poses for hands. It's a bit of a finger. True. I'm bad at like making my own poses, so that's actually what I'm gonna do after this. Is I'm gonna move on to not using these reference pictures, or not using exact reference pictures, because I should still use reference. You should always use reference. I know that at least. This is real sketchy. This doesn't look like the same hand exactly. Not with the way I've drawn this thumb. But I think it's a hand at the very least. Ain't anything wrong with sketchy. I mean, yeah, like I think most of my art's actually pretty sketchy, but I think it does show, like, sometimes, right? It can show that you're not exactly confident with your lines, and I think sometimes that can be a bad thing. I think this looked better before, but whatever. I mean, yeah, I guess that's a hand, right? What you got there? The thumb is longer and Wait. The thumb is longer and slimmer than the baby's. Less perspective? I don't know, yeah. I definitely need to thicken up that thumb a little more. I think that's fine, right? And then let's push that hand. Let's get rid of this weird line here on the wrist and kind of like show, like, you know, there'd be like veins there, I guess. This is a really long pinky, isn't it? Seems not as angled as the reference. Yeah, I guess not. It's hard to tell though because it's upside down. You know what? I'm gonna... What, is it this one? Yeah. I'm just gonna really quickly flip that and see where I am. Alright, yeah. No, okay. I see a lot of the problems I made. I drew at a very different angle. If it was the same angle, how close is it? Okay. So the hand was going down more, I guess. And the thumb is coming forwards more. So that's a bit of the problem with that placement there. So if I were to draw this again, but not at that angle, right? It would be more like we've got like this shape over here, and then it kind of comes out like that. Then we've got that, and then a finger here, and then this kind of comes in way more, and then we've got And the hands coming out like this. Just trying to like figure out if it was the same. Where would things be placed different? So this would be closer to here. And then we've got okay, so we've got like those shapes. And then I push this back more. This is much less effort, so of course it's gonna look worse, but I'm just trying to get those shapes out, right? So this actually comes more like this. So this would be a bit closer to like the actual pose of the hand, right? And then it actually, it comes up much sharper here. So yeah, seeing it like this, I didn't pull these fingers up enough and they're not forward facing enough. The same with the thumb, it comes a lot more forward. This finger is actually, it looks like it's too long, or it looks like it's facing a bit of the wrong angle. And then we've got more like, I don't know, I'm not gonna put in the shadow. All right. And we've got like that, then we'd like, it's not actually, you can't actually see those arteries on this hand, but it's like that. Okay. So I think that's a good example of that. So yeah, okay. What I think I'm gonna do now is I think I'm gonna actually try and draw a like a hand that's you know, my own more so than that. So let's think, what kind of hand pose should I do? So maybe I should try getting something that's kind of like grasping a bag, right? So if we were to have like a bag over here, right? And this is the strap of the bag and it's coming forward, and then there would be a hand grasping onto it here. So how would this work? So we'd have, so we know about this kind of shape of the hand, right? But it's facing forward, so it'd seem a lot narrower. And then we've got like that kind of shape, maybe. Okay. We've got the thumb coming out here. So we've got like this shape that actually kind of goes straight back, almost perpendicular into that hand. And then let's actually move this closer. And let's position this kind of palm section a little bit more closely to where it would be grasping the bag. I think this part would be a lot, oops, this part would be a lot narrower even. So we've kind of got this surface over here, and that kind of goes out there. So now if I were to, this is still too high, isn't it? If it was grasping this strap, probably would actually draw the strap after to make it easier on myself, but so we've kind of got like, kind of have the thumb grasping over here, right? And then the rest of the fingers would be wrapping around here. So let's try. This is not too bad. But I do think I've got the angle a little wrong. I think there should be like even less space here. So kind of we want the finger here to be kind of like, okay, well, let's actually keep this in so that we know what we're doing more. We've got these sections, and then it would kind of wrap up like this. And then we wouldn't really, we'd see this kind of part, but we wouldn't really see the tip of the finger, would we? Because it would kind of be closed in. I think that section makes it too long, actually. So what we want to do, God, I didn't really want to do like a loose grab, did I? So maybe I should even push that in further. And then like this. I think maybe this is, I mean, let's just go under the bag or under the bag strap to see what it would feel like here, right? I think it would squish up more, and this would be angled more like that. So it would be kind of like this. Yeah. 100% brain dead. Got to sleep sometime. I'll stop by another time though. See you on. Best of luck with your hands. You're doing great. Thank you. Have a good rest. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream, or were enjoying the stream. Good night. All right. So let's get these kind of hands, and the wrist would kind of come out like that, right? So we also need like the knuckles would still be visible, and I think it would even like it would taper in more for these fingers, right? So something like this maybe. And then we might, I don't know, maybe maybe the pinky isn't quite like grasping, so it can be like over here. But it would be behind stuff, right? So if we were to have like a bit of a loose pinky, because pinky doesn't have too much strength, so it might not want to like try and grasp on. I think we do need to make it thicker there. Okay, so maybe I feel like I'm making one part of this finger a little too thick, but I don't know if that's like a problem right now. If I were to get rid of those parts of that hand and kind of just like connect it up naturally. Okay, I think this thumb, that shows that this thumb is definitely a bit too thick. I think, oh, I just erased something I didn't want to. Okay, so then we want to kind of like pull that thumb in a little bit more and then out again. And then we've got, I think this is coming in too much, but, and you know what, this part is probably not even exaggerated enough, right? The thumb really does come out quite a lot there, past the wrist. So, but because we're kind of facing it from the front, maybe you wouldn't see too much of it. So maybe we thin this wrist more, and then we put this here. Not quite. Still having a little bit of difficulty with that. And I don't really like the look of this pinky sticking out, so we won't put that there. We'll just kind of like put something there. And you know what? Now that I'm at this stage, what I'll do is I'll look at a grasping hand and see. Well, I mean, well, first actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to angle this wrist a bit more inward, and then kind of would bend out a bit, right? And then this part of the arm would be like, you know, you want like this this, I guess, force vector to be going like straight up, right? You want the pressure to be on your arm, not just your wrist. So it would probably be a bit close to that. But now I am going to look up some grasping hand from the front references to see. But now that we've got this, right, I can't like alter it too much, and like you know, just copy it because I've sketched out the main part myself. Can't copy anything exactly, so that'll help with not using the reference as a crutch, just using it as an aid, right? Clenching fist or clenched fist. Alright, looking at some of these images, I think maybe this finger over here needs to come out a little more. Maybe not that much more, but like over there, I think this bag should really like only come out to over here. Okay, so that it like actually looks like it would be lying on top of that of those fingers. Let's try and get that taper right, and it's kind of like pulling down. And then we've got another part of the fist here. Or yeah, so this what is it, middle finger would be going like there. Let's actually bring out those knuckles a bit more too. So that it would kind of feel a bit like that maybe. Or like this. Yeah, and like maybe not like protruding quite that much, because there would be a finger kind of hidden away there, maybe, I'm thinking. A bit uncertain. But let me try and maybe bring these digits a bit further down. And then with hands, you've kind of got like this little part of like overlap at the start of the knuckle when you're viewing it from this angle. So then we can bring that down, and let's even like put some like kind of lines here to indicate like the continuation of the knuckles, because there's like bones here, right, that connect to these carpal bones that kind of are a little visible. And you know, you see them indicated in something like Mickey Mouse's hands on his gloves, right? That's what those lines are for. Alright, I think that's not a bad hand. It's a very masculine hand. I think most of these are pretty masculine hands, except maybe the first one. And probably needed to draw some more feminine hands too. To get more practice on that, since I draw mostly feminine characters, but let's try and we can pull that over there, and we can even like push that back like that. Is this thumb too long? I'm thinking right now. Maybe it's too long, or maybe it's fine. I can't quite decide. It's not that bad though. Even if it is a little long, I think if I zoom out, it does look a little long. Maybe what I can do is I can bring that back, and then this down, so that it looks a little less like it's so like overextendedly long. And then we've kind of got this bit of this shape. All right. So I think that's a decent shape. I do feel like this hand is a little long though, right? So maybe what I need to do is like bring it down. So let's erase these bits, and then kind of like continue these up a little like that, so that it looks like the hands are a little bit shorter and it's not like overextending itself or anything. So like that. And now that feels maybe a little more natural. Let's also just kind of get a bit of this in, a bit of like shadow here, where the I don't know, there's like some kind of like where the under like the bone part, there'd be a bit shaded like that. All right. I think that's not a bad hand. Let's also like draw the other side of this strap, and let's just like go much darker with the shadow there, so you can really tell. And let's kind of like block in some shadows as well to get this form. So we've got over here as well, there's shadows, and those kind of will actually continue all the way to the bottom of those fingers, and there too. All right. So I think we've got most of the form of this hand in. So let's try and go over it with an ink, or with an inking color, and see if we can define it a little better. Alright, so let's go over here and over here. There we go. And then we want, this thumb is real large. Maybe I should make it a little bit thinner. Not too much, but like thinner enough that it doesn't look like distractingly thick. Alright, And then we can go out here. Maybe like close up these lines a little. I'm doing like line art, I suppose, but I don't know how correct it is to do so. I messed up something here, didn't I, though? Yeah, these, it doesn't like kind of fold in there, it kind of like goes up and then crosses over there, but we should probably put that like a little bit lower, because otherwise it'll look like those fingers are way thicker than they actually are. Alright. And then we've got the end of this finger. And we kind of want to put that nail slightly pointed inward, like this. Actually, now that I think about it, we kind of made the angle of that finger go upwards, right? So we should angle the strap upwards as well. And then we want to get that down there. And this is like hardcore shaded in. Like this. All right. Yeah. And then we can like kind of like, we don't really need I mean, the red is already kind of doing what we want, but I'll go over it again anyway. Really define these shapes. Maybe not that dark though. Let's try this part again. All right. Yeah, and then we've also got this part. So yeah, it will like darken right after the corner where you've got those knuckles, like that. Okay, we can darken that area, and it's also got like a bit of a nail there, even though I don't really need the nails in there. I do want to at least lightly indicate them so that it doesn't look too off, like a hand with no nails, right? Like this. All right. So now we've got like a bit of a hatching there, and then this there, got a bit more. This kind of like lightly indicated line. All right. And then we also want the shadow under the thumb here. We want to put in. All right. So now, if we were to get rid of this red, which is on which layer? That layer. So that's kind of the hand we've got. Oh, but I didn't draw all of the lines on it. So let's just put that down there first. And now we can get rid of the red. We also need to get like darkness under this thumb here. And I don't think that looks bad. I think, yeah, I can see some flaws in this hand. Like I think the way this thumb kind of extends, it's a little long, I think. Or it's probably not long, but the way it's connected to the rest of the hand is a little weird. I think maybe this palm section is a little long, I think. But, oh, we're already hit the 2-hour mark. And I did say that I was going to practice hands for 2 hours. So that is, I guess, all for the hand practice today. I'll leave it on the screen as I'm saying a few final words, but thank you everyone that came to the stream or wanted to talk. I don't know, maybe I should do this kind of practice like at least once a week, or whenever I don't know what kind of art to do. I should definitely do something like this, whether maybe feet, although I know that'll attract some weird people. A sip of water. Or I'm probably gonna need to do hands again. Like arms and legs. I struggle with a bit. I'm not too like worried about the torso or the head or face. I think I'm not too bad at those, and those are like I think parts that the eye doesn't really focus on, like, apart from the face, right? Like, first things that you really focus on in an artwork is going to be the eyes, then the hands, and then like kind of following around the rest of the piece. But yeah, probably same time next week I'll try. Oh, I don't know if I'm not gonna set an exact time for when I'll do this kind of practice again, but just follow me on Twitch or on Twitter to see updates of when I stream. I also stream Minecraft sometime if you're interested in that. Although, like, I doubt that most people who came to watch me practice hands are interested in that. But yeah, thank you very much for coming and watching the stream. I appreciate it, and I'll probably see you guys tomorrow with either it might be a Minecraft stream since I haven't streamed it in a while. But we might also do an art stream. I'm not really too sure yet. We'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for coming, and